coming to be on Memory Lane today. Great to meet you both.
Thank you for the invite.
It's going to be a fun episode, I think, because from what we can gather, you're both very different. You come at things very differently. And you're both going to bring two places that are kind of abroad that you've lived that we're going to explore.
Which is very different to what we've had.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
So we are, Fred, first of all, just tell us about your business.
Go on, Clive, go.
You give it a crack. Have a bash.
Okay, we are Fred. Basically, we're a property marketing agency, and we do branding and creative and all things creative for mostly developers and a few different sectors, but mainly in the built environment, as we discussed there.
Very nice.
Real
Very
estate.
Built environment, yes.
So you founded business together, yeah?
We did, yeah.
Partners in crime?
Been for a long time, yeah.
Well, Clive gave my first job. So when I come out of art college, he gave I moved up from Devon because I used to live down there. Then I moved up to Essex, but all my family from up in Essex. So then when I came up here, I'd fresh out of art college and I needed to get work. And I had my little portfolio that I was running around London and getting no work.
The A1 portfolio.
Oh, it was like that.
Yeah,
massive,
yeah,
right? Yeah, with
What
some
did,
really.
what did it have in it?
Oh, well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, there's some quality work in there, obviously, of
Yeah,
college,
yeah.
and it had a lovely, lovely screen print of the Serengeti, which
Yeah,
was didn't really go to anything, no software there, just screen printing. And I had that, and I presented that to Clive, and he was then running what was your title then?
I don't know.
The artwork president of a tiny little printers in Essex.
But
And that's basically where I got my first job. So that's where me and Clive first met.
so as you can guess, it was one really good screen print.
Yes.
I can imagine.
Yes.
Is it in a frame?
It's not. We wish it
somewhere?
was.
It should
No,
be.
That would be in the boardroom.
Because he takes
Yeah.
the nick out of me
Yeah.
most days.
Yeah, that would be in the.
But there we go.
Memorable.
Well, exactly. And it's done me all right so far. So
And
all
that was
right.
what, about 30 years ago?
Yeah.
So what happened from there? So you obviously working together. You were fresh into the business. How did things progress from there?
Go on.
How do you
Yeah.
decide?
We worked in the printers for a couple of years,
Yeah.
and then Nick went off to London to seek his fortune, and then we sort of stayed mates for all this time. But our career paths sort of went off in different directions, and then sort of came back after he got back from abroad,
Yeah.
and then we said, do you know what? Let's give it a go.
Let's start
So,
with agency.
do you know what? It was a conversation down the pub, like so many of these things are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Right, go on. We can do it.
yeah,
Yeah. Be fine.
Dutch courage.
So, yeah, it was. I wasn't keen at the start, to be fair. I was like, no, because I just got back. So I just got back from being abroad for like 10 years. And then basically, Clive was like, fancy starting a business. And with my wife, Rebecca, we just had our first baby. So I had this new thing in the corner thinking, I don't quite know what to do with that yet.
Yeah.
And I'd just gone back and I'm a bit of a stranger in my own country. And Bex had been away for 14 years. She'd been away longer than I had. So it was a bit strange. And then he put round in a very tasty pair of flip-flops.
Oh.
And I was like,
Random.
and basically,
Bit-
yeah, it was like, do you fancy starting your own business? I was like, not right now, no. Love the idea, timing's awful, right? And I was working at a different agency at the time, but then basically he knew that once the idea had got into my head, and I was thinking, well, it could be quite cool, we could do this and we could do that, and you start thinking about all the possibilities. So then we were like, right, let's give it a go.
So it was an absolute standing start. So I think we had 2 logo designs that we'd managed to secure for not a lot of money, and we just said, do you know what, this is
great.
the seed. Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, if we look back
Yeah,
at it
and,
now, it's going, we must have been
yeah.
mental.
I mean, from a sales point of view, I talked him into it, absolute wholesale.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it myself,
Sucker.
but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's thinking, "God, he fell for it. I can't believe it."
And that was nearly 9 years ago. So
So why do you think it works between you both then?
We've had this conversation a few times. We don't really know
no,
because we are very
on paper.
Well, that's
we
probably
shouldn't-
why.
Nah,
Just
we're
say
very, very different.
Yin and yang.
Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, I don't know. It just does, doesn't it? I suppose we sort of talk about it, and with regards to the agency, like I'm normally, what's the term you use?
Gobby.
Yeah, other than that one, I'm sort of the drive.
Oh, you're the accelerator on the brake.
Yeah. Or I was going to go navigation.
Rudder.
Navigation.
Rudder.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
go more with that one. But that's kind of how it works, where I'm sort of pushing for where we want to go, what we want to do next, and who we want to go for, client-wise, agency-wise, and stuff like that. Clive's up for it, but then he normally just brings in a more sensible lens on it. I suppose,
Bodicum
way to
of,
say it.
you know,
Yeah, some would say
we
boring.
can't afford that.
Some might say
Some
boring.
might say boring as well. Like, oh my God, come on. I'll take the jam out of my donut straight away. But it does work, and yeah, I think
I think being mates first helps
yeah.
because there's a trust there. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, if the fact that we're equal partners is we've both got as much to gain or lose as the other one. So, but also because we know each other so well that if one of us is out of the office or away, the other can make a decision and know that the other one will be on board with it.
Great.
So,
What happens if you both, or has there ever been a case where you've really disagreed on something? Or is it you just always, it just works?
Well, that's a good
Things just-
question. Well, Clive just gets his own way.
he wants a pool table with our logo on it, but I've been kicking that can down the road. Only
Yeah, only because he wants a
Serengeti.
table tennis table. I know it's cheesy, but I want a pool table. But no, to be honest, I reckon 2 or 3 times we've been not on the same page. But then the way we are
I
is...
can't remember any of those 3 times.
No, I was making that for the podcast.
Okay.
I can't just go, oh, everything's just
Make
great.
extra money.
Oh,
easy.
Everything's just dreamy. We've
Yeah.
gone so well.
You've got to bring some drama.
Uh-huh.
We've only had 2 arguments in all those years. Each one lasted for, 3 years?
Yes. So we kind of... we how do we approach it? We basically talk about it and talk about it and talk about it and talk about it until one of us gets bored, or we go, right, you know what, we kind of find our own, because we don't, I'm probably more
Well, it depends what you're going to die in a ditch for. And
Yeah.
if one of us says, I've got an opposing argument, but I don't feel too strongly about it, so let's just go with what you want to do. And that works both.
because a lot of times
Yeah,
when you speak to other business people or mates of mine that have had business partners, there's horror stories galore. And you're like,
Yeah.
wits, right? And we kind of go, well, we're all right with it. Like, it's not that bad. Like Clive says, we're mates. So that could have caused its own problems anyway.
Yeah.
And we always say, well, we'll see how it goes. But we tend to be a bit more respectful, I suppose, of each other's opinions. But also, we bring very different things to the business. So we don't necessarily clash like that. We'll sort of, if I say, I want to go here creatively or whatever, Clive's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Whereas if Clive, from a business point of view, is going, I think we need to make this decision and do this, this and this, then I'll go, I'll trust your decision on that. So we kind of just go, and even if whatever decision we make completely dies in a ditch, we're like, okay, well, it's just a lesson learned, and we crack on from there. We don't get the ump about it, really.
That's such a good attitude.
Couple of things.
Yeah.
You paid a lot of money for some light boxes we didn't need.
No, I got those for free, and that was at the start of the business.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go down that route if I was you.
No. Okay.
There are no grudges.
Oh, no grudge at all. And they've been laying about 4 in 4 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a few things that we take the mick out of each other for, but that's probably about as far as it gets. It's taking the mick out of going, oh yeah, because that was a cracker that time. Like, you employed that person, they worked out well. Or worked out, you know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah. Since we've had some where we just
Yeah.
go,
And I think we've got about 10 of those each.
yeah, easy. It could. But we make mistakes all the time, but we're gonna, right? Because like we said, we've never run an agency like this. 9 years in, or 8.5 years in, or whatever. Where we thought it would go, it's gone further than we thought it would.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is great. But then you kind of go, well, yeah, we've never really felt out of our depth. So you kind of go, must be doing something right, or we haven't been found out yet. But we'll see.
Do you finish each other's sentences? I kind of feel like,
But it's
Yeah.
we recognise all of the idiosyncrasies, the small twitch, the face, the smile, that we know exactly what the other one's going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I can be pitching something with all my heart. Going, yeah, and I'll know by his face and go, no, he's a part of this. So I'll just stop. Which is, we don't go out on windy walks together, but at the same time, we do know each other quite well.
We do go out for windy.
We do go for lunch every day.
Yeah, we we did go out for lunch every day. So we're still mates.
Yeah.
No, we can, it's never been a...
Not yet.
No.
I mean, we could fall out.
When you hang out as mates at the weekend, do you talk about business, or do you just have
Both.
friend chat?
There's not a lot of secrets between us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, after 30 years.
No, not really. Yeah, we sort of, because
It's like the Ant and Dec of
Oh, it is, isn't it?
marketing or something.
You're obviously the one with the big ball.
The old zip forehead. Thanks for that. Yeah. I like the way they've literally said nothing. They've looked down. Thanks for the support there, by the way.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You get cuts.
Swear word.
No, yeah, I didn't swear. Did I swear? I didn't swear.
No, I just say if you want to cut it.
Oh, it's not warming, is it?
Yeah, it has. No,
it is warm.
you've turned the at me again. That's right. We've got a long old way to go.
Okay, so shall we switch to the first homes? Who wants to go first?
It's probably you again.
No, do you know what?
Do you know what?
You know what?
Let's switch it up.
You can go. You can go
Okay,
first this
come on.
time.
Okay.
fine.
All right. What do you want to know?
So, well, you were going to talk about somewhere you lived when you were 16,
Yes.
which is quite a surprising one.
Yes. I lived in Texas. I went over as an exchange student for a year, and lived with a family. I called them mum and dad, and they called me their son, and they had kids already. They had 3 children.
So you were only 16,
Yes.
and you
Very
were on
young,
a
isn't it?
plane to
That is young.
Texas by yourself
Yeah.
Gosh.
for some sort of exchange.
Yeah, for a year-long exchange student program.
Why Texas?
But they had a really good. I was doing gymnastics, so they had a really good gymnastics program over in Texas. So they contacted the school and said, "Look, we've got a kid that wants to come to the school for a year. Does anybody want to put him up?" So a family came forward and said, "Yeah, we'll give it a crack." And I'm still in touch with them to this day. They come out. We see them every year. They came out to my son's wedding a couple of weeks ago. So yeah,
So
and that's
nice.
nearly 40 years ago. So yeah.
So were you kind of nervous being 16, being put on a plane?
Bulletproof. That's it. You just off you go. It's a good opportunity. Do you know what? As I look back now, I probably should have been a bit more nervous than I was. But I was like,
You were just excited about the
I think
opportunity.
so. Yeah.
You weren't worried about being homesick or anything like that.
No,
No.
not at all.
You have so much confidence
But-
when you're younger,
Yeah,
though,
no,
don't you?
Yeah,
that's true.
invincible.
Yeah.
And that was obviously before phones and FaceTime and email and all that sort of stuff. So if you want to write a letter complaining that your host family are being cruel to you and beating you, then you write a letter and it took 2 weeks to get there, and then they'd write another letter and it'd take 2 weeks to get back. So it was a month, and they'd stopped hitting me by then. So that was all good.
So going to Texas, that's quite a kind of change, cowboy land to...
Absolutely, and it's exactly what you think it is. Is
Is it? Yeah.
lots of land, everything's spread out.
Did you get a cowboy hat?
No,
Oh, that's a shame.
yes,
did.
I did. There was one point I had all the get up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked like a little Woody from Toy Story.
Oh, I was just drawing for breath.
Yeah,
There we
thank
go.
you. Your turn will come. And yeah, and the family I live with, they were lovely. As I say, still in touch with them. Really nice people. And I suppose the house, which is obviously the
Yeah,
first,
what was the house
was a
like?
beautiful house. They were just doing really well in business, and they just had this house built, and it had TV, cinema rooms, and ballet rooms, and
Oh, wow.
studied all sorts.
Ballet rooms?
Yeah, because the daughter was doing ballet at the time, so they had a ballet room done with the glass and the bar and it.
So were one of their children at the gymnastic school
No.
that you were going to? No.
No, not at all.
A ballet.
But the house had an intercom system. So when the mum was in the kitchen and dinner was ready, she'd press it and it would come out in all the rooms. And it was just like, yeah, quite
That's quite advanced, but
quite for 1986, 7, whatever it was. Yeah. So yeah, so they were lovely, super welcoming, amazing house, massive grounds. So yeah, very, very fortunate. It could have been a very different experience, I think, if I'd been and stayed, in a shack somewhere.
so what was your family home here like?
was gonna say, were you
that
happy
you
to
went
come
for?
Really
Does that?
No, again, we had a nice upbringing here as well. So it was sort of, not parity, but
But you didn't live in a house with an intercom system and a ballet room.
no,
I'm
only the one
guessing.
butler, and then it was from then it was yeah. But no, it was strange to come back because obviously you've grown up a lot in that 12 months. Got yourself a lot of independence, and
And you got on well with the 3 siblings, did you? Did you have?
Yes. And we still, in fact, a couple of years ago, 2 of my kids, I've got 3 boys, 2 of my kids actually went out to see some of their kids and stay with them. So sort of that next generation are now staying in touch, which is lovely. So that 12 months back in the sort of the mid-80s has been really influential
Yeah.
on me and now my family. So,
That is very
That's
special.
Yeah, that's amazing.
but yeah, it's a good place, a lot of good memories.
And you're still in touch with them. How often do you speak to them?
These days, it's you're WhatsApping all the time anyway, so you know, sort of every week or so. But we definitely don't go more than a year without seeing each other. So, yep.
And you still go to Texas to see them then?
Still go to Texas.
Are they still in the same house?
No, they've all, and the kids have grown up and they've gone and they've got families of their own and so on and so forth. But I went out 2 years ago with my youngest lad when he was 17, 18, and he wanted to see where Dad grew up. So we went to the high school that I went to, and we had a tour of the high school. And there's still a picture up in the reception of my school year and stuff. And
How fun.
and he bought a hat. But yeah, good memories.
And I've got to ask a gymnastic question.
Go on then.
Can you still do a cartwheel?
Yeah, but there's no room here, is there? So
There was an office party a couple of years ago. You did a drunken handstand and it went around the office, which was pretty good.
Wow.
I can send you the videos.
Okay, excellent.
but that was the
Like
old.
a Mad Men episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's me.
Well, that's Texas.
I love
Your turn
that.
now.
Come on
Yeah.
then. We're going to
Okay.
go to another different country.
Another hot country.
Yeah.
Slightly different, yeah. I went over to the UAE in 2015. And I only went there because, I don't know, I'd got bored. I was done the London thing. I'd been working out there. So I came out of London, was working back at an agency in Essex. Then I got itchy feet there. I used to normally do about 2 years and then I'd move because I wanted to get different experiences. And then I was just looking in a design week, which is still going, but it was in their printed form, which I don't think is about anymore. And there was a little advert at the bottom left-hand corner. It was like, hey, back when I was an art worker then, it was to go and be an art worker in Dubai. I'd never even heard of Dubai. I was like, oh, I'll apply, whatever.
Yeah.
No one's going to be interested in me because it's an abroad job, right? And that was it. I forgot about it. I was carrying on looking, interviewing in Farringdon and various different places. And I got like an email back a couple of weeks later saying, oh, can you send us a bit more of your portfolio through? And then basically fast forward 5 weeks later, I was sat in Dubai, living there, going, blimey.
What the hell? How did
What
that
happened?
happen?
Yeah, it was a bit of a, it was quite, because I'd spent so long saving to get a tiny little flat and scrape the money together for deposits, etc., etc. I was there for 2 months and then I moved wholesale. So it was quite a, from the interview process to you've got it was a week. And then I had about 3 weeks shutting everything down, various different drinks and leaving drinks.
Yeah.
And I was only going to go there and do 2 years tops. I ended up doing 10 because he just, and anyone that lives in Dubai now, they know that, you know, once you get a sort of a taste of that lifestyle, it's good fun. But also it takes you probably that long to really find your feet. And I can remember sitting down with my mum and dad just going, I don't even know where it is. We got out like the full on atlas like that. And my dad's like an ex-Royal Marine. So he was like flicking through, going, Middle East, that's a bit dodgy. Then he went, hang on a minute, it's just above Saudi Arabia, just below Iran. I'm going, oh yeah. And he's going, don't know about that. And I was like, oh, he's going to go. And I'd lived abroad when I was young anyway, because we travelled around wherever my dad got based. So we lived in Italy and stuff like that. So they'd done the abroad thing themselves. So they were like, look, go and have a look. Like, Mum was like, I don't want you to go, because mums do, but also, if you want to go and have a little look around.
How old were you?
I was 28 then. And a few mates had settled down and were getting married, and that wasn't my thing at the time. I was like, right, I want to go and look around a little bit. So I went over there, and I did have sort of full intentions to do maybe 2 years, because the reason why I went there was they had basically the bottom of the palm, you've got Media City and Internet City, and there's loads more now and loads more different areas, knowledge villages and all of that that's around there. But basically, I sort of read up on this Media City and Internet City with these two sort of areas that were emerging, and all these new agencies were going there from around the globe, and all the businesses east meets west, and it's all this sort of going to be this hub. I thought, right, experience-wise, wow, let's go and have a look. So I went and had a look, and I thought, oh yeah, 2 years, I'll just save loads of money and I'll come back. Anyway, I didn't save loads of money, but I went into 10 years, had a great time. Got to travel a bit while I was there, because you're sort of 7 hours across, so you get to travel a little bit more. So India and Bali and Thailand, and then all around the GCC and the outer Middle East. But then also while I was there, I was working on brands and stuff that I wouldn't have got anywhere near. And then it sort of, as it sort of transpired, I ended up being sort of I was working for London agencies that wanted to open up agencies in Dubai, and because I was on the ground and I had the experience and I was also English, there was quite nice synergies. So I spent sort of quite a few, a couple of agencies that I opened or helped. That they were opening. I wasn't opening it for them, but I was there more of a to help them with the culture and the
Yeah.
locality and contacts and printers and all sorts of things like that. So it was very interesting like that. And so, yeah, like I say, the brands that I got to work on were, I would have got nowhere near. And the thing about like Dubai is it's very entrepreneurial. It's very, there's people there that, you know, people go there, they're very ambitious. It's got a real buzz about it and it's incredibly infectious. It's not all great. A lot of the stuff you see is like, oh, okay, it's not the land of milk and honey. It has its own problems like anywhere else does, but it does have lots of opportunities. So from that side of things, it was great. And I wouldn't be doing Fred now had I not done those 10 years there, nowhere near, because to be honest, I was on a very different path.
Yeah.
So it's, and sort of when I'm talking to the team and they say, oh, you know, well, we've never done that, because we're always sort of, yeah, we'll just sort of, we'll say, yeah, we can do it within reason, and then we'll work out how we're going to do it after we've said, we're never going to go that crazy with it. But the sort of, our team are sort of sitting there going, well, how are we going to do that? And a lot of time I go, oh, no, I've already done that. I've done that before. And I've forgotten that I've done that before. Not like I've done everything, but you get this real mix of anything from events to branding to, you know, photo shoots and video shoots in hotels with models and all this sort of stuff. And I was getting nowhere near that when I was, because, you know, it's like in the London agencies, or not just London agencies, but a lot of agencies, you've got a particular skill set and you get pigeonholed there, and that's what you do. Whereas there was a lot of smaller agencies looking to grow. It was a real niche area of growth. No one really knew where it was going to be going, and that was across all sectors. So then all of a sudden that sort of attitude, when you go in and work for an agency, they'd be like, right, we've got this project in now, so it was, well, we're just going to do it. And that's what I quite like. People were doers. There was more of a can-do attitude than there was a can't-do attitude, which is kind of what we're trying still at Fred, where I'm like, look, we can, if other people are doing it, there's no reason why we can't do it, so we can have a
We'll figure it out. Yes.
Yeah, like we do very much say, if there's something we can't do really well, then we'll just say that we can't do that. That's not us. There's things that we don't do as an agency, but the things we can do, we're sort of like, yeah, of course we can do that. So that kind of.
So that was an amazing move for you then, to take the chance and move there.
Yeah, it was. I met my wife there. So yeah, I sort of, nailed it. I mean, if that was been in the brochure at the time when I was looking at it, I'd gone, well, yeah, I'll have a bit of that.
Yeah.
I'll put a deposit down now. But I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't all, it's like, it's life. So you're living there. So the 10 years I was there was redundancies, loss of jobs, there was ups and downs, there was all sorts. You're living there, right? So it's very different to going there for 2 weeks and living that 5-star hotel dream or whatever. You're in and around that. And some of the things I've seen and experienced are, pretty cool. Some of them I can't mention on this podcast, not that bad, but just stuff that you see in that region. It's a very, very different area from a cultural point of view. And a lot of the people, I've got friends there that have started agencies there, and they're huge agencies now. They're doing fantastically well and great for them. They're doing really, really good stuff. Some are experiential agencies, some are property, real estate companies. There's all sorts of different. So it is a real hub for people that want to maybe break out of the mold that they might be in their home country.
So for professional growth, that's an amazing place to.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not, like I said, it's not perfect, but it's great. But also for me, from personal growth, you know, even good old mum was like, geez, you're, 2 or 3 years in when she came out, she's like, you're different. Like,
Oh, wow.
You are different. You're more, because the thing is, when you're like Clive would have had when, obviously he was with a family and he was a lot younger.
Yeah.
I was a sort of, supposedly an adult man who knew what was going on. But
Supposedly.
To be honest, right, I didn't really know anything. I was just running around like doing what everyone else does.
Yeah.
But you do have to be confident in your own ability and mature, because you will have things that aren't going particularly well for you. And mum and dad aren't there. Your friendship network's not there. Now, the good thing about Dubai and any expat community is your friends are your family. So everyone's a lot more open to it, and everyone's been in the same boat. When you first turn up, everyone's like, yeah, cool, handing out phone numbers left, right and centre. Like, yeah. You wouldn't necessarily get that here. Everyone's a bit like, what? Phone number? No, I met you a few minutes ago. What? Whereas everyone's like, yeah, of course, because it's different, and everyone's like that. So that community is a lot stronger. But you also, if things aren't going well,
Mm.
you're on your own. So you have to grow up, you have to figure it out for yourself. So it forces you. And I didn't go there for that, but I think looking back at it retrospectively, you kind of go, yeah, there was some of that. And people always say when it's the really bad time, that's when you learn most about yourself. Yeah, I think you sort of grow more.
Yeah.
Um,
So your mum could see that in you.
yeah. Yeah, I think she could. Yeah, she could. And I think even like, because Clive's known me as well. Clive's known me since I was like 19. So he's also seeing the change as well. So when we came back, I think, in all just, I know how wonderful my screen print was, but I don't think Clive would have gone, John, fancy going into business because that's screen print. We can do things with that, right? Yeah, exactly, right? So, but when I came back and Clive had his own business, and that was going very well, but he had, aspirations to grow it in a different way, and I'd come back with the experience that I had.
Yeah.
That's why, and it was Clive that sort of said, look, got a bit of an idea. And I was like, well, no, I'm a creative director at this agency now. I'm all cool, I'm all settled. But yeah, you sort of go, yeah, why not? There's a gap in the market. Let's have a go. And I'd rather regret something I've done than regret something I haven't done.
Yeah, and actually what you bought is kind of not even about the actual home, is it? It's about the community and the location of it. We've not bought the actual home. And I remember did you say you moved once a year when you were there for 10 years?
Well, yeah, because I was renting, and because you always think, well, I did. I mean, a lot of people think, well, I'm just going to stay for a couple more years or another year, or I'm going to do a 5-year contract or a 3-year contract, or whatever you've got. Some bigger companies, you'll go on a 3-year contract or whatever. Some people go further on, Singapore, go on to Hong Kong, Australia, wherever. So I was always, because I was working for smaller agencies, I was like, well, I'll do a couple of years. But I mean, to be fair, for the first, I'd say at least 6-7 years, I had no intention of coming back. And to be honest, even when I speak to Bex, we were both like, we're not going back to the UK. Like, we'll go further on. Babies change that slightly, and grandparents.
Yeah.
It sort of changes your perspective.
I mean, it's really made me think about living abroad and working. Like, I went travelling, but I didn't ever do the experience of actually going somewhere. I don't think I was ever brave enough, but
No,
I'm
much for home.
I'm well, yeah, too late now, kids, and that's it. But the thing about growing up more and kind of having those new experiences that you're never going to get in the UK must just be incredible.
then
I kind of wish I'd done that now.
Yeah, I always fancied
You sold it.
Yeah, I always fancied the travelling thing, but I didn't fancy the fruit picking or whatever, like the hardship of it. I was kind of like, I want all the good stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I don't really fancy that. So then going and living there, and again, it wasn't planned. I honestly didn't. I never thought,
Didn't have a
I'll
grand
go and
plan
work
of-
abroad. No, it was never even on my radar. So it was quite fortuitous, to be honest, to just go, yeah, I'll go and have a look. But I can remember I was sat on the flight flying over there, and I was sat there. I had a bit of I'd never really had one before, but I think I was having a bit of a panic attack because I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah,
Whoa.
Yeah.
And this like sort of lovely air to
The reality.
You all right? I'm like, no, like beads of sweat coming down. And she's
Yeah.
like, hang on a minute, got like a little bottle of red, quickly neck that. I was like, and then sort of got there, but then
Brave though, isn't it? And that's how that just shows you how brave it is actually. You know, a minor panic attack when the reality hits of shit. Oh,
yeah. Oh, yes, you were first, so I'm happy with that. On that one.
Okay. So we asked the last question then.
Should we go to the last question?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Last question already.
Yeah,
do you want to chat more?
I've been talking a lot.
long has it been? I don't
shut
know.
up.
Well, I had 5 minutes, he had like 45, but it's just...
Yeah, I'm like a
Looking for that
politician.
will.
I can just keep going until I don't want to get another question.
Well, you can talk more for this bit then, but we ask, are we on to the final?
Yeah.
the final one?
Yeah.
think so,
I think we had the nod.
So we ask every guest for 3 words what home means to them. So you can both take it in turns. So if you had to summarise home in 3 words.
Is that to you?
You can,
For
what?
us.
One each. Both
you
of
can both
you.
answer.
Yeah.
Take it.
Summarise home.
Yeah.
Well, what
I'm
3
on
words make you think of home the most, or do you
Be a
associate
feeling,
with home?
could be a word.
We've had all, yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna think about that while you're telling them yours.
Okay. So, my wife, in the winter months, you get home from work and it's dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she always knows that when the house is warm, and all the main lights are off and the lamps are on. So she says, don't worry, I'll ring her when I get in the car. I say, honey, I'll be half an hour. She goes, okay. She goes, I'll make it warm and lampy.
Oh, stop.
So,
That is so
yeah.
sweet.
So-
See, mine's not as good as that now. I'm going to go, yeah.
I'm going to use that. That's
That's really. I understand.
I know
that.
exactly what you
It would be
mean.
very
It's such a nice
pleasing
feeling,
to
isn't
arrive
it?
home to a warm and lampy
Yeah.
house.
But
Okay,
I know that's
warm and
only
lampy.
Yeah.
So that's 2.
Uh-huh.
What's your third one?
And
And to be honest, that's so good. You've just.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I've got, no, can I just go what he said? Although Bex never goes warm and lampy, so I can't nick that term.
I love that.
I don't know, mine's totally different. I suppose it's more, it's not really 3 words, it's more wherever you are. Because home is, because I have moved a lot.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you walk into, whether you're walking into a massive house or a room that you're renting or an apartment, unless you're there with your little bits.
Oh.
No, no.
okay.
We're talking about things we like, right? But if you had, so you put me off my stride now. What's I talking about?
Sorry. I think
You were doing so well.
Yeah, thanks. I thought I was doing right. So I was trying to surmise it shorter, and I just get interrupted. No, it's more wherever you are. I would say that is. It's more home is wherever you are. So because you bring people, family, whatever, they bring the love, the joy, the little trinkets, the atmosphere. Otherwise, it is just bricks and mortar. So for me, it's. I had this question because we said this the other day, which I've just reminded myself of.
Yeah.
Actually,
I was thinking of it.
where I went to a workshop, and they were one of the things you had to bring back with you to the workshop was what you think is your idea of home. Probably quite a similar question actually, and it sounds a bit sort of contrived, but I put me basically, and I took the word home and I knocked H and O back because it's arty, and had the ME really prominent, and said basically I've said it's about me, but it normally is. It's about the people that are in the room, and it's about home, and that's what comes. You don't get home. You have houses, you have buildings, but unless you had people, it's not really a home. So I sort of said that was more about people. So I've tied in work.
I like it. Yeah,
And,
that's a good.
Yeah.
Showing us
Both
your
really good
creative
answers.
thinking right there.
Yeah, I probably nicked it from somewhere.
No warm and lampy, but it was.
Yeah. Oh, mate, you're going to love that now. We're going to say the pub off, you're going to go warm and lampy. Nailed it. Can you cut that, please, warm and lampy? Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
this has
You've
been
been
great.
really fun guests. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been
Yeah, it's good fun.
good fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Cool.
cool. We're not inviting those two back. No way. Yeah, it's been good.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of Memory Lanes.
This podcast is brought to you by the Oracle Group and Define Creative.